Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. Today's upload is going to be about the winter storm that is absolutely supercharged. It is filled with moisture, filled with all the ingredients necessary for winter storm, severe weather, flooding, and even an icing event. So this is a storm of everything. Right now it's centered across Southern California, and I will be using the GFS and the European model, so don't think I just use the GFS. If you like these type of uploads, if you like my channel, if you're new to this channel, just consider checking it out and consider subscribing. It always, helps my channel grow. It's a win-win situation, so consider doing so. So thank you for that. We are looking right now, as I mentioned, the GFS. This storm is in Northern California. Just made it a couple hours ago. Maybe I think maybe 3 or 4 hours ago, maybe a little bit more. It made landfall onto California, and it's moving quickly across the west, bringing loads and loads of snow, rain. There's flash flood warnings up. If we go to the National Weather Service page, there's a flash flood warning right there in northern central California. But as we move on forward, this ejects into the plains, and slowly but surely it makes a huge chunk, a huge river of moisture just comes streaming in from the Gulf of Mexico. There's a mechanism that basically pulls all this moisture up, and that's what this moisture is waiting for. It's been kind of congregating there, nothing moving it at all, not much happening to it. So finally this storm comes along, swoops it right up, and heavy rainfall, especially for parts of the Ohio Valley, potentially seeing as much as 2 to 3 inches of rainfall with this storm. And in the north side, where the cold air is plentiful, we see at first an icing event. We see some light rain, some light freezing rain, maybe some sleet, because the warm air is trying to override the cold air. Soon, however, the column cools and we just turn all to snow. Northwestern Iowa, southern Minnesota, the whole state of South Dakota, much of the state of Nebraska is going to be under the snow. The heaviest snow seems to be in this area where Iowa meets with South Dakota, Nebraska, and into southwestern Minnesota. That area seems to be the mother lode of all snow with this storm. And otherwise, we see some severe weather down in the south. So if you live somewhere in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, any states, I wouldn't be saying that you have a high chance for tornadoes, because you don't, but there's always a threat for a tornado. I think the Torcon by the Weather Channel, I know many people don't like that, but don't like the Weather Channel, but I still like to refer to it. I think they gave you a 40% chance for a tornado, or 30, so not incredibly high. The National Weather Service, I think, is at most giving out maybe a slight risk. I think it's marginal though for most. Definitely not enhanced, but potentially some thunderstorms definitely getting severe. In terms of the flooding, it seems to be mostly centered across southern Indiana, southern Illinois, and the Ohio Valley, Cincinnati area. Definitely going to see some heavy rainfall with this. We push this farther out into time. This is already Sunday, December 2nd, and we definitely see these snow showers kind of continuing still across the regions where most of the snow fell. And the storm continues to push off into the northeast, producing rain even as far north as Maine. So this is definitely not going to be a system where potentially heavy snow is going to fall behind it in the northeast. However, the lake effect snow may get turned on a little bit afterwards by this, so we will need to watch this. So you see the 540 line right here that indicates that the cold air has made its way down into the south, into the southern United States. We go into the total snowfall right now. I want to show you the total snowfall. The GFS is actually fairly conservative in terms of the snowfall totals compared to the other models, at least. It may be actually the most realistic in my opinion, but we're looking at 15, 16 being the top amounts of snow according to the GFS, and they're showing it again right in this area in northern Nebraska, southern South Dakota, and southwestern Minnesota potentially. This model, the GFS, is not showing it that well, but again, also winter storm watches have been posted for many locations all the way up into Montana. and maybe 2 to 3 inch snowfall totals in Wisconsin, and maybe cities like Minneapolis. That city is always on a border with many snowstorms that we see. So Minneapolis, you may get, again, southern sections, far southern sections may get 4 to 3 inches. Far northern sections may get, only a dusting of snow. But again, the center of this seems to be out in that area. So we're looking right now. We're gonna look at the NAM right now, and let's just go to radar, rain, and frozen. We are seeing again that weak system that happened a couple hours ago, a night ago, yesterday. We got around an inch of snow here in Chicago, and we start seeing, let's just zoom out on this one because this storm is just so expansive. We need to look at the whole map in order to get the full grasp of it. So again, we see this is already by tomorrow, which I am recording today on Thursday. So this is going to be Friday, which is today. Later on in the night, around 10 o'clock Friday, we start seeing, not 10, this is around 7 o'clock Friday, we start seeing the rain the moisture getting pushed up further to the north. Cold air is plentiful over here. We really start to see the heavy rain across southern Missouri, northeastern Kansas, definitely getting in on that rain. And again, the Ohio Valley looks fairly to get pummeled by this rain. Not really a snow event for many locations east or southeast of, I would say, central Iowa. And we go on through this, the NAM, you can see, has very heavy snowfall rates for many of these locations, and this could actually be a very interesting storm. As you could see that at one point, this is around 2 o'clock in the afternoon Saturday, it's just basically separated from the southern section of the storm, and the northern section, we have the low right here, kind of making a moisture arc and precipitation arc stretching from around Ohio into rain and into central Iowa with rain, snow, and then all the way into, you can see Montana and Canada, Alberta, Canada, British Columbia could definitely be seeing also some snow with this. We move on forward. The storm starts wrapping around. We see the rain pushing into the northeast. Maybe some snow to start off in the northeast, but again, the NAM does tend to have a cold bias, and those wraparound snow showers producing maybe a couple of inches of additional snow. The NAM model, in my opinion, is a little bit too much. It tends to do this with these storms, especially the blizzards and the larger winter storms in the plains. This time it won't be a blizzard, at least not that I think. The winds will be fairly strong, but not enough to provide blizzard warnings. They haven't issued any, at least at this point. You can see they have, again, that this whole area in very heavy snow. It's actually a massive area extending from Wyoming all the way to the Lake Michigan, and almost above 6 inches throughout this whole area. Will I think this happened, this case scenario? I don't think so. This is just way too expensive. I think the European, somewhere between the European and the GFS, has the best. We go to the European model, and this is what it does with the snowfall totals. You can see it does have that same area going up, stretching up into Canada, kind of like a little check mark if you look at this from a little bit further distance. Goes like this and like that, so a little bit like a check mark. Heaviest snowfall totals, again, most likely centered in Nebraska, and that is, the European model actually has it a little bit further to the southwest than the GFS. But this has actually cities like North Platte seeing 14-15 inches of snow, and northeastern Nebraska seeing 10, maybe possibly 11 inches. Southern Minnesota, potentially against up to half of it of snow. Same thing with northwestern Iowa. Again, guys, Minneapolis, Minnesota is going to be on the border. St. Paul, Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota, maybe up to an inch. And if this shifts a little bit further to the north, then we could be looking at snowfall totals up to 3 inches. St. Cloud seems to be out of this. Not seeing much. Green Bay, Wisconsin, if you live in these areas, these woods, 4 inches, 3 inches according to the European model. Again, this model may not be 100% accurate, but I do have more confidence in the European than the GFS. Some totals potentially up to 20 inches, and I strongly think that we will be looking at a snowfall total, at least 1 or 2 that will be crossing the 20-inch mark. Let's go to the National Weather Service, and you can see we have a whole area of winter storm watches, which again extend out into Alberta and British Columbia and into parts of Saskatchewan, Canada. But otherwise, winter storm warnings and many winter storm watches still yet to be posted into winter weather advisories or winter storm warnings. So you can see that. Remember how the European model is showing almost 14 inches for these areas right here, North Platte. Well, the National Weather Service isn't really buying that for 100%. You can see it's only showing 4 to 6 for those areas. But what I tend to notice is that the GFS, or the European model, has been very accurate with these past couple of storms and has done a very good job with the last storm. And the National Weather Service has shifted its snowfall totals based on the European model. So I think this could definitely continue shifting a little bit further south. So yes, that would mean if you live in Minneapolis or St. Paul, that wouldn't be the best snow producer for you if it continued to shift further to the south. You can see the NAM also has quite a bit of snow down to the south. The GFS has a little bit further to the north and east, and not necessarily in the area like North Platte. North Platte's a fairly big city in Nebraska, so that's why it's important to know what snowfall totals it will be getting. That's basically it for today's video, guys. I just wanted to give you a quick update on the supercharged storm. It's a massive one. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you're a snow lover, if you're not, there's not much good news. There's cold air after this storm, but I'm sure we could find something for you guys in my upcoming videos. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll consider subscribing, consider liking the video, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.